Hey everyone, this is my story edit. It is Puss in Boots. There was once an old miller, and the only inheritance for his 3 sons were his mill, his donkey, and his cat. The oldest son took the mill, the middle son took the donkey, but the youngest son got nothing but the cat. He was not pleased. "My brothers can work together and make a fine living," said the youngest son, "but me, all I can do is eat my cat and wait to die." Well, the cat overheard the miller's youngest son and said, "Master, don't worry. You're better off than you seem. Just give me a bag and a pair of boots, and you'll see what I mean." The youngest son didn't hope for much, but he had seen the cat play some awful clever tricks to catch mice before, so he decided to give the cat what he asked for. The cat slung the bag around his neck, pulled on his boots, and went to the nearest meadow to catch a rabbit. It wasn't long before he had a rabbit in his bag, so he headed toward the palace to see the king. He was let into the throne room, and he bowed deeply, saying, "Your Majesty, I bring to you a gift from my master, the Marquis of Carabas." The Marquis of Carabas is the fancy name the cat gave to the miller's youngest son. Well, the king was so pleased to receive a gift that he gave a gift in return. It was gold coins. The cat brought the gold coins back to the miller's youngest son, and over the next few months he visited the king several more times, each time bringing him a gift. Well, the king began to like the Marquis of Carabas very much. One day, the cat learned that the king was going to take a ride by the riverside with his daughter, the most beautiful princess in all the world. The cat hurried home and said, "Master, do as I say. Go and bathe yourself in the river." Well, the youngest son went, and it wasn't long before the king started to come by. The cat ran towards his coach and shouted, "Help! Help! My master, the Marquis of Carabas, is drowning!" Well, the king stuck his head out the coach window and told his men to help the Marquis immediately. As they were pulling him from the river, the cat explained, "We were attacked by thieves, and they stole the Marquis's clothes." The king immediately gave the Marquis a suit of his own to wear. Dressed in the king's finery, the youngest son looked every bit the Marquis of Carabas, and he was so tall and handsome that the princess began to fall in love with him. The king invited the Marquis to join in on the ride. Now the cat had a clever plan. He ran ahead of the coach and found a field with workers in it. He said to the workers, "Tell the king that this meadow belongs to the Marquis of Carabas, or I will turn you into mincemeat." Now the workers were so frightened that when the king asked who the field belonged to, they said, "The Marquis of Carabas." The cat continued to run ahead of the coach, and every worker he met, he did the same thing. So every time the king asked who the field belonged to, the workers responded, "The Marquis of Carabas." Now the king began to be very impressed with the estate of the Marquis, but really all of the land belonged to a magical ogre. Well, the cat already knew this, and he also knew that the ogre was very proud. He went to the ogre's castle and knocked on the door. The ogre opened the door, and the cat said, "Ogre, I hear you can turn yourself into any animal in the world, but that's impossible. You couldn't turn into a lion, for example." A second later, there was a lion roaring on the floor, and the cat jumped in the air. But another second passed, and the ogre was back. "You gave me a fright," said the cat, "but a lion, a big animal, that's easy. You couldn't turn yourself into something small, for example, say a mouse." The ogre laughed, and a second later there was a mouse scuttling on the floor. Well, the cat pounced on the mouse and ate him up. As he was finishing eating the ogre, the cat could hear the king approaching outside. He went out the front of the castle and said, "Welcome, your majesty, to the home of the Marquis of Carabas." He was invited inside, and the princess and the Marquis followed. There in the great hall was a fantastic feast. Now the king was very, very impressed with the Marquis of Carabas, and he could see that his daughter was clearly in love with him. So he said, "Marquis, you'd be a fool not to marry my daughter." Well, the Marquis and the princess were married that very same day, and the Marquis lived happily ever after. And as a thank you to the cat, he made sure he lived very comfortably and never had to chase a mouse ever again.